Howdy there. Dun 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 dun. Hey, Mr. Warrior, at your service. Hey, can you believe it? This is like our first video for 2014. Welcome aboard, my friends. Hey, I should warn you this ride might get a little bumpy. You might want to go ahead and get the seatbelt, secure that latch, and get ready for a bumpy ride because, my friends, it's all about Common Core and the new Common Core standards, and I know that they can be very, very challenging. Anyway, couple of things. This will be put up as an assignment. Therefore, you'll need to turn it in. However, you'll need to turn it in with a special code. That's right. You guys are working undercover. Undercover mathematicians, and you must provide me with a code word. Now, this code word is going to be given to you in pieces. And basically, it will be given to you sequentially, which means in order. And you'll need to provide that to me after you turn the assignment in. You'll put in the field box where you type the code word in order to get credit for the assignment. Okay, time to move on. See what's hiding behind my secret shade. Basically, what I decided to do is I'm going to make a video, and hopefully everything will work right here with my... So far, so good. I wanted to move him, but he's not wanting to move. But this is basically lessons 1 through 4. So, there he moves. Hopefully everything will work okay, and we won't have any problems. Here you can see I basically have my place, decimal place value chart. Okay, this year, you guys are required... I don't have my pen. Interesting. Okay, we'll just do a regular pen. Let's see, do we have math module lesson 1-4, 1 through 4. So basically, we're going to be learning about place value, and place value isn't a new idea for you. I hope not. It's something you've been learning from very early on. You learned about the ones, and you kind of learned that, hey, when you have a 1, you can put a 1 here in the ones place, and a 2 and a 3. But because we have something called the base 10, basically indicates to us that we need to regroup. So when we come to the tens place, basically we end up with a value of 10 here. Now we'd only put one digit in here, but this particular place value has a value of 10. So if I have a digit of a 4, okay, then I have 40. Pretty simple. I know, I'm going all the way back. And I'm going to go ahead and just kind of continue on here. And as you can see, what starts to happen here is you see a pattern. We hope you see a pattern. I have to write my number small to get in here. Okay? And the pattern is that every time we move to the left here on this place value chart, what happens is the value of that place value increases. This one here is 10 times greater than 1. Okay, and you can check that because you can say, well, what's 1 times 10? It's 10. And here you can see that 100 is 10 times greater than 10. So the key here for you to learn, and what Common Core asks you to learn, is that you need to understand that a digit in one's place, in one particular place, is 10 times greater or could be less than that value of the place next to it. It keeps getting greater here, and it's always times 10. Over here, however, this is where we have that wonderful decimal point. And on this side, now suddenly, we're seeing something less than 1 whole. These are fractions. These are decimals. They aren't a whole. And so when we look at tenths, what we're looking at is that this value here is only 1/10 the value of what's next to it here in the ones place. However, it's still 10 times greater than the hundreds place. Good news for him, right? He's not that small. Because hundreds are even smaller. Because he's even 10 times less the value of him. You can just see that. We gave these examples in class. Okay? And the same with the thousands. And this is what you need to understand about the place 10. Now here, these can all be written as decimals. Okay? Now you can put a 0 in the front as well. Nothing wrong with that. Okay? And this is just our 0.1. Now here, obviously, there's no big change because we have the 1, we have the 10, 100, because that's how they're all written. But these, because they're fractions, look like that. We can, however, write this as not this one here. Um, this is an exception. Let's just skip this one here. I don't want to confuse you, but this is like 10 to the first power. Okay, 10 to the second power. We were learning exponents today, if you recall, and we just keep going. And there you go, all the way up to the millions place. This means 10 times 10, 10 times 10 times 10, and you keep going. All right, now let's move that along. Since we did that lesson, let's move along to see how this is connected with the metric system. Because not only do you need to understand that each one of those values has each one of those places has a particular value. It also has something to do with the decimal place, and when numbers are greater, what happens to that decimal. We talked about the last couple of days how that decimal place moves. Okay, it moves to the right when we're multiplying by a power of 10. 23.2 times 10 means that this number here is going to be 10 times greater. And to make that 10 times greater, it's really nice. We just move one place value to the right. So now we have 232, which is 10 times greater than 23.2. It makes doing some math pretty easy. This is what's happening here with the metric system. Here, the basic unit of measures we're going to use is a kilometer, okay, the millimeter, and the centimeter. We're not going to really use any others, okay? We'll use, kiloliter and kilogram, but that's all the same, okay? And so it's just a different type of measurement. One measures liquid, like a liter. You've probably gone to the store about a liter. So here we have the meter. 1,000 meters is equal to 1 kilometer. And these are the abbreviations to make it a little bit easier to write. We have 1,000 millimeters in 1 meter, and we have 100 centimeters in 1 meter. And milli, you learn, is 1,000. Centi, 100. Meter just simply means measurement. Okay? So I'm going to go to the next page here because I want to keep this going. I don't want this video to be too long. I'm not trying to cruise along, but basically, this is something, and I'm trying to think why maybe I did that. Okay? This is where you probably really want to make sure you're paying attention. Okay, because this will be important later, as we talked earlier in the video, that you need to make sure that you're on top of that. Okay, so here you can see that again we have the place value chart, and the place value chart will come in handy. I don't know why I had this on this page, but let's see what we have here. I wanted the problem, so I wanted to go ahead and look at this. Now, don't panic. Okay, I know this didn't look like what we did in class, but I kind of wanted to clean up my notes a little bit. But if you look at this, we talked about this here is the kilometer. Okay, here's our meter. We talked about these. Here's your centimeter, and here's your millimeter. These are the measurements that we typically use when we measure things. Okay, so I didn't realize I still had my magic pen on. Okay, but these are the ones. Okay, now the other ones that are in between, I mean, don't worry about that so much. Okay, we're not going to use this, but there's still a power of 10 when we look at what we're doing here. So let's pretend. Let's just go ahead and look at this. See, if we have 5 meters, okay, and remember I showed you meter in class, we have 5 meters. 5 meters can be put into another unit of measure. Rather than meters, we could put 5 meters in kilometers. We could put 5 meters in centimeters and millimeters. Again, we're not really using these others, but they all fit in the power of 10 when we move over. So when we want to put 5 meters into millimeters, just like when we want to change inches to feet, or when we want to change feet into yards, here what we're doing is we're actually moving the decimal, but we're multiplying by a power of 10. So here we're moving to the right just like before. That becomes 110. See, we're multiplying that by a power of 10. Then we're going to go one more, so that's another power of 10. And then to get all the way over the millimeter, we're actually having to multiply by 3 powers of 10, which we understand is 10 raised to the third power. Okay? So now suddenly, if you look at that 5, well, if we're moving, we don't have any other digits here to go around. Basically, we've created these zeros. So here's 1 power of 10. Well, you know 5 times 10 right there, that's 50. But we have another power of 10. So that was another 10 added on there and another 10. So we have 3 of them. And as you see now, we can say that 5 meters is equal to 5,000 millimeters. Pretty crazy, I know. It's a lot. But the number is great. The number grew, but the unit of measure, it's smaller. We talked about a millimeter being really, really small. Okay? So now the opposite is true. So now what if we want to take that 5 meters and turn it into kilometers? Again, remember, these are just unit of measures that are different, like feet, inches, yards, miles. That's all these are. Okay? 5 meters is equal, okay, I should put the M there, equal to 5,000 millimeters. Okay? Now, if we wanted to change that 5 meters into kilometers, just like we learned on our chart here, okay, those powers of 10, when we move to the right, okay, it's like we're multiplying. And when we move to the left, we're dividing. So we're just going to come right back over here and show that. So here we're going to have to go 1, 2, 3 times to get to a kilometer. So now we have 5 meters, and we're basically, we're not multiplying now, we're dividing because we're going to the left. So we're going to divide by 10, divide by 10, and divide by another 10. Okay, oops. So now what's going to happen here is that 5 is sitting here, but the decimal's right here. So it's going to move 1, 2, 3 decimal places. 1, 2, 3. There's our decimal place, and now we have 2 zeros that are going to go in between. Look at that number, looks so small. It's because the kilometer is so large. We only have 5 meters. It's only 5 meter sticks, so that means in order to change that, it's going to be 0.005. Okay, now let's look at a real application problem. Okay, whoa. Oh no, this guy's back? You're kidding me. I thought I got rid of this guy. What? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Yeah? Oh. Okay, I'm sorry. I guess, you know what? I don't speak like really good gorilla, but I think he was basically trying to say, hey, you know, I actually kind of like this Common Core stuff. I wouldn't mind learning it. I don't think, he probably didn't say that. Let me see. What are we doing on time here? Okay, I'm already at 12. So, time to get back here because I want to shorten this up and make sure I do this as well because, well, this is important too. So, anyway. Ooh, it made that. Could you tell what that letter that was? That was one of these right there. Look at it quick. See? All right. And then one of those. And one of those. Yes. Okay. So anyway, what we need to do here then is it says the problem, and you have this in your homework. It says a honeybee's length measures 5 millimeters. Okay. I changed the number, but you have this exact same problem in your homework. Okay. So anyway, let me get you out of the way. Thank you very much. And so 5 millimeters, got it. Okay. I know that's just a unit of measure because we were looking at that chart. If we go back, oop, went too far. Okay, millimeter, it's over here. Okay, not a problem. Express this measurement in meters. Oh, so they wanted to change the millimeters, the millimeters into meters. All right, now if I look at my chart, I can see they want me to go from here all the way to meters. So I'm going, oh, look at that. I'm going to the left based on this, and that means I'm not multiplying. I'm dividing. I'm going to the left. So let's go back over here. So now it says, explain your thinking using a place value chart. Well, let's just explain this thinking looking right here. I can see that if I want to take, especially a smaller unit of measure into a larger unit, because a meter is larger than a millimeter, I have to divide. And I'm going to the left. And I'm going to the left 3 powers of 10. 1, 2, 3. So that means the decimal place is going to move 3 times. 1, 2, 3, but to the left. So if I put my 5 down, then that tells me that basically my decimals here, I'm going to go 3 places to the left. I think this is what I said. I hope I didn't misspeak. So 1, 2, 3. So whoop, my thing's kind of acting up here, looks like. Hope it makes it through the end of the video. Okay, so if you can see that, I have 0.005 meters. Look at how small that is, because a meter is so large and a millimeter is so small. But I did what it asked me. I needed to change millimeters and meters. So explain your thinking using a place value chart is, well, by using a place value chart, I could see that a millimeter is smaller than a meter. Therefore, I needed to move my decimal point 3 places to the left. And my final answer is then 0.005 meters. Okay, and now it also says explain your thinking using an equation that uses an exponent. Now in this case, I'm trying to take 5 millimeters, and it says to use an equation. So let me just get rid of this thing here. Say goodbye, goodbye. And then I'm going to come over here and put blank meters. Okay. Now it does say to use, an exponent, but in this case, I mean, there's a couple ways you could do it, but looking at the 5 millimeters, I'm going from this smaller unit into the larger unit, so I'm not going to multiply, but I'm going to divide by 1,000, because it's going 3 places to the left, so I'm dividing by 1,000, so my equation would be 5 divided by 1,000, okay? And that's going to equal how many meters? Okay, and if I divide that, well, 5, you can put that as a fraction. That's 5 over 1,000. Now, how do I change this into a decimal? Well, that's thousands, meaning I have 3 places. 1, 2, 3. Remember we saw that? I have my 5. My 5 can't go here. I would have 5/10. So I put my 5 here, and then I put my 2 zeros there. Okay, now, that basically, let me get one more thing here for you. Uh-oh, let's try and do that again. Can you tell what letter that was? I think so. And then you need to make sure you have that. Put it all together. So that basically concludes the video. It's a little longer than I wanted, but I was trying to review over a few lessons. I will put up other videos as well with this topic that are done by other people. So hopefully that will be helpful. Now, you need to live long and prosper, my friends. See you later.